What if the greatest war you will ever fight is not on a foreign shore, under a blood-red sky, but on the silent, untrodden landscape of your own mind? What if the most formidable enemy you will ever face does not carry a sword or a shield, but whispers your own name in the dead of night, using your own voice to sow doubt and discord? There is a fortress within you, a vast and ancient citadel built upon the bedrock of your potential. Its walls are meant to stand against the howling gales of misfortune, its towers meant to offer a view above the fog of confusion. Yet for so many, this inner fortress lies in ruin. Its gates are splintered and broken, left open for any wandering fear, any passing anxiety, any marauding doubt to enter and claim dominion. You feel it, don't you? The constant, low-grade siege. The noise of a world that never sleeps. Its relentless trebuchets hurling distractions and comparisons and expectations against your defenses, day and night. You feel the civil war within, factions of desire and discipline clashing in the courtyards of your heart. You feel like a king in exile within your own kingdom, a stranger to your own power, subject to the tyranny of every fleeting emotion and every intrusive thought. You have mistaken the whispers of traitors for the commands of your sovereign. You have allowed your inner sanctum to become a marketplace of chaos, a haven for ghosts of past failures and specters of future worries. The wind howls through the empty throne room of your will, and you wonder why you feel so scattered, so powerless, so adrift in the storm of your own life. This is not a lecture. This is an awakening. This is a call to arms. Within these words you will not find fleeting platitudes or hollow comforts. You will find the hammer and the forge. You will learn to become the architect, the stonemason, and the unyielding sentinel of your own mind. We are here to rebuild the fortress, stone by deliberate stone. We are here to evict the usurpers and silence the traitors. We are here to help you take the Watchman's oath, a sacred vow to stand guard at the gates of your perception, to become the unwavering guardian of your inner peace, the sovereign of your internal state. You will learn that your mind is not who you are. It is the sacred ground you are sworn to protect. And by the end of our time together, you will hold the keys to a kingdom you had forgotten was yours to rule. The first lie we are ever taught is that our thoughts are us, that the voice that chatters and doubts and fears is the core of our being. This is the first breach in the wall, the postern gate left foolishly unlocked through which the entire invading army flows. The first duty of the watchman, the very first vow he takes as he pulls the hood over his head and grips the cold spear of his awareness, is the vow of silent observation. He learns to stand on the parapet of his mind and simply watch. He watches the thoughts that arrive like travelers on the road. A thought of anger, a dark rider on a black horse, gallops toward the gate. The untrained mind, the sleeping guard, immediately throws the gate open, lets the rider in, and offers him the throne. The watchman does not. He raises a hand. He narrows his eyes. He does not fight the rider. He does not run from him. He simply observes him. He asks, "What is your banner? From what land do you hail? What is your purpose here?" He sees the rider for what he is, a messenger, not a monarch, a suggestion, not a command, a cloud passing in the vast sky of his consciousness, not the sky itself. This is the first taste of true power, the realization that you are not the voice in your head, you are the one who hears it. You are not the storm, you are the mountain it breaks against. This separation, this sacred distance, is the foundation of your entire fortress. Without it, you are not a guard. You are a prisoner in your own cell, mistaking the ramblings of other inmates for the words of the warden. From this moment forward, understand this. Every thought that enters your awareness is a petitioner at your gate. It is asking for entry. It is seeking an audience with the sovereign. And you, as the watchman, have the absolute authority to grant or deny that access. For years, perhaps a lifetime, your gates have been left to swing in the wind. Every whim, every fear, every insult from the outside world has been allowed to wander in, set up camp, and defile your inner sanctum. The watchman's oath begins with a single, resolute act, closing the gate, not locking it, not sealing it shut, but consciously closing it so that you, and you alone, decide who and what may enter. Now let us speak of the walls themselves. A watchman with no walls to walk is just a man standing in an open field, vulnerable from every direction. The walls of your fortress are forged of a single, immutable material: discipline. Not the grim, joyless punishment you imagine, but discipline as the highest form of self-love. It is the conscious, deliberate act of building your own strength, your own sanctuary. Every act of discipline is another stone laid in the wall, making it higher, thicker, more formidable. When you choose to wake before the sun, you are not just gaining an hour. You are the watchman taking his post at dawn, seeing the landscape of the day before the enemy has stirred. You stand in the quiet solitude, the world still asleep, and you map your intentions. You sharpen your will while others lie dreaming. This morning ritual is the laying of the foundation stone for the day. It is a declaration to yourself and to the universe that you are not a passive recipient of circumstance. You are the active creator of your reality. The cold shock of a morning shower is not discomfort. It is the tempering of your spirit, teaching the body to obey the mind, forging resilience against the shocks the day may bring. The act of physical training, of pushing your body past its perceived limits, is not vanity. It is the blacksmith at his forge, hammering the iron of your being into steel. With every repetition, every drop of sweat, you are not just building muscle. You are building the unshakable belief that you can endure hardship, that you can push through pain and emerge stronger. You are reminding the citadel that its physical form is a weapon, not a liability. The discipline of what you consume is the quartermaster's duty. You are guarding the supplies of the fortress. What information do you allow past the gates? Do you feast on the empty calories of outrage, gossip, and fear peddled by the merchants of chaos? Or do you nourish your mind with the wisdom of the ages, with knowledge that strengthens your resolve and clarifies your vision? Every book you read is another map of enemy territory you acquire. Every podcast you listen to that challenges you is another strategist you invite to your war council. To allow your mind to feed on junk is to poison your own garrison, to leave your soldiers weak and demoralized before the battle has even begun. The watchman is ruthless in his curation of influence. He knows that the fortress can be taken not just by force from without, but by poison from within. Let us speak of the inner territory, the landscape within the walls. This is where the most treacherous battles are fought. The watchman must be a master of this terrain. He must know every shadow, every alleyway, every hidden passage where saboteurs might hide. These saboteurs are your untamed emotions: fear, anger, despair. They are not your enemies. Let me repeat that. They are not your enemies. They are powerful, primal energies that, left unchecked, will act as insurgents, burning your city from within. The untrained man is possessed by them. When anger rises, he becomes anger. He is its puppet, its mindless vessel, and he will say and do things that the sovereign within him would never approve. When fear whispers, he becomes fear. He shrinks, he hesitates, he abandons his post. He allows a phantom to command the fortress. The watchman's way is different. He does not suppress these energies. To suppress them is to lock them in a dungeon where they will only grow stronger, plotting their revenge in the dark. He does not indulge them, for to indulge them is to hand them the keys to the kingdom. Instead, he confronts them. He meets them in the open courtyard of his awareness. When the red mist of anger rises, the watchman stands his ground. He feels its heat, its power. He lets it surge through his body, but he does not let it touch the throne of his will. He holds his spear of awareness and asks of the anger, "You are a signal. What are you trying to tell me? Has a boundary been crossed? Has an injustice been done? Is my kingdom truly under threat, or is this the phantom rage of a wounded ego?" By questioning the anger, he separates himself from it. He honors its message without becoming its slave. He transforms its raw, destructive energy into focused, purposeful action. He uses the fire not to burn down his own house, but to fuel the forge. And fear, fear. Fear is the great siege engine. It rolls slowly, inexorably toward your walls, its shadow falling long and cold. It broadcasts its threats, its dire predictions of failure, of pain, of loss. It is the most potent weapon of any enemy. The watchman knows that to run from the siege engine is to guarantee its victory. To fight it with brute force is to exhaust his own troops against an illusion. The watchman's oath demands that he stand on the wall and face it. He must walk the parapet of his anxiety, looking down at the very thing he dreads. He must breathe in the cold air of uncertainty. He must accept the possibility of the worst-case scenario. He does this not to surrender, but to rob the fear of its primary weapon, the unknown. By looking at it directly, by imagining the worst and accepting that he can, if he must, endure it, he disarms the threat. The fear is still there. The engine still sits on the horizon, but its power is gone. It is just a thing, a possibility, not a prophecy. The watchman then turns his back on the engine and focuses on his duty, on the next stone to be laid, the next patrol to be walked, the next right action to be taken. For courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the judgment that something else is more important than fear. It is the watchman performing his duty even as his hands tremble. This inner dominion requires a code, a law by which the kingdom is governed. An army without a banner is just a mob. A fortress without a sovereign's law is just a prison. You, the watchman, are the enforcer of this law, but first you must write it. You must sit in the quiet throne room of your own solitude and decide what your non-negotiables are. These are your core values: integrity, honor, truth, resilience, compassion. You must carve them into the stone of the citadel's gatehouse. These principles become your true north, your unwavering compass in the swirling chaos of life. When a decision stands before you, you do not consult the shifting winds of public opinion or the fleeting whispers of your own comfort. You consult the law. Does this action align with integrity? Does this word serve truth? Does this choice honor resilience? If the answer is no, the path is clear. It is a foreign army that has no place within your walls. This inner law creates a profound sense of stability. The world outside may rage, empires may fall, fortunes may be lost, but within the walls of your mind, order reigns. Your self-worth is no longer tied to the fickle validation of others. It is anchored in the bedrock of your adherence to your own code. You become a sovereign nation of one. You respect the laws of other lands. You engage in trade and diplomacy, but you are never, ever conquered by them. This is the source of true, unshakable confidence. It is not the arrogant bluster of the ego, but the quiet, deep certainty of a king who knows his own domain, a watchman who trusts the strength of the walls he has built with his own hands. Now the watchman must have an arsenal. His awareness is his spear, his discipline is his armor, but he needs weapons of perspective to dismantle the enemy's siege towers before they even reach the walls. The first of these is the weapon of the watchtower. From the ground, in the midst of the battle, everything feels chaotic, overwhelming, personal. The watchman has learned to ascend, in his mind, to the highest tower of the citadel. From this vantage point, he can see the entire battlefield of his life, not just the current skirmish. He sees the long, winding road that brought him here. He sees the vast, unknown territory that lies ahead. From this height, the current crisis, the insult that felt so personal, the failure that seemed so catastrophic, shrinks in significance. He sees it as one small part of a much larger campaign. He sees the patterns, the recurring enemy tactics, his own repeated mistakes. This view from above detaches him from the immediacy of the emotion. It allows for strategy, not just reaction. He is no longer a soldier fighting blindly in the mud. He is the general, observing the flow of the battle from a position of clarity and power. The second weapon in his arsenal is the sundial of mortality. In the central courtyard of the fortress, the watchman builds a sundial not to tell the time of day, but to remind him of the finite nature of his watch. Every shadow that creeps across its face is a reminder that his time as guardian is limited. This is not a morbid practice. It is the ultimate tool of clarification. Memento mori, remember you will die. This thought does not breed despair. It breeds urgency and purpose. When the watchman remembers his mortality, the trivial concerns, the petty grievances, the fear of what others think of him, all burn away like mist in the morning sun. He asks himself, with the time I have left on this wall, is this argument worth my energy? Is this distraction worthy of my focus? Is this fear how I wish to spend my precious, dwindling moments? The sundial strips away the inessential and leaves only what truly matters: his duty, his code, his impact. It is the ultimate antidote to procrastination and the siren song of mediocrity. It focuses the mind with the searing intensity of a burning glass. The third weapon is the most subtle and perhaps the most powerful, the map of control. The watchman must know his territory intimately. He must know without a shadow of a doubt what is inside the walls and what is outside. Inside the walls are his thoughts, his judgments, his responses, his actions, his will. This is his kingdom. He has absolute sovereignty here. Outside the walls lies everything else: the weather, the economy, the opinions of others, the past, the future. These are the foreign lands. The watchman wastes not a single soldier, not a single arrow, trying to conquer these lands. It is a fool's errand, the path to madness and exhaustion. The untrained mind spends its life hurling its energy over the walls, trying to change the weather, trying to control what others think, trying to rewrite the past. It leaves the inner kingdom undefended and chaotic while it wages a pointless war it can never win. The watchman focuses all his strength, all his resources, on maintaining immaculate order within his own domain. If a storm rages outside the walls, he does not curse the sky. He ensures the shutters are fastened, the fires are lit, and the garrison is well fed. If an enemy army masses on the plains, he does not despair at their numbers. He focuses on the readiness of his archers and the integrity of his gate. This is the Stoic dichotomy of control, framed not as a passive acceptance, but as a brilliant military strategy. It is the conservation of energy, the focusing of power where it can have a true effect. By relinquishing the insane desire to control the uncontrollable, you unlock a level of peace and effectiveness that is almost superhuman. You move through the world with a calm grace, unperturbed by the chaos that derails others, because you know the difference between your business and not your business. So you have learned to observe the thoughts that approach your gates. You have begun to lay the stones of discipline, building the very walls of your fortress. You have learned to confront the emotional insurgents within, not as a tyrant but as a wise sovereign. You have armed yourself with the weapons of perspective, the view from the watchtower, the reminder of your mortality, and the map of your own control. This is the foundation of the watchman's power. This is the beginning of your reign. But there is another, more insidious threat we must now face. It is the traitor who uses your own voice, the spy who wears your own face, the internal narrator, the storyteller of your suffering. This inner voice is the most powerful force in your kingdom. It can be your greatest champion or your most devastating saboteur. For most, it is the latter. It is the voice that replays every mistake, that magnifies every flaw, that crafts elaborate stories of victimhood and injustice. It is a master propagandist, convincing you that the fortress is weak, the enemy is invincible, and surrender is the only option. The watchman's oath requires you to seize control of this narrative. You must become the master storyteller, the royal chronicler of your own life. When you face a setback, a lost job, a failed relationship, a personal mistake, The traitorous narrator immediately begins its work. "You see," it whispers, "you are a failure. You always mess things up. This is proof that you are not good enough." This story, if believed, is more damaging than any external event. It poisons the well of your self-belief and rots the foundations of your fortress from within. The watchman must intervene. He must stride into the chamber where this story is being written, tear the poisonous parchment from the chronicler's hands, and write a new one, a truer one. He writes not of failure, but of a lesson learned. He writes not of weakness, but of an opportunity to build strength. He reframes the narrative from one of victimhood to one of resilience. The new story might sound like this: "The outer wall has been breached. The enemy has shown me a weakness in my defenses I did not know I had. I am grateful for this intelligence. Now I know where to rebuild, stronger than before." This event is not the end of my story. It is the crucible that will forge me into a better guardian, a wiser ruler. Can you feel the shift in power? The event has not changed. The external reality is the same, but the internal experience, the meaning you assign to it, is transformed from a poison into a tonic. This is not about lying to yourself. It is about choosing the most empowering and useful truth. Is it truer that you are a failure, or is it truer that you are a learner who is in the process of mastering a skill? Is it truer that the world is against you, or is it truer that you are being tested, sharpened against the whetstone of adversity? You, as the sovereign of your mind, get to choose the official narrative. The watchman's duty is to ensure that this narrative is one that serves the kingdom, one that fosters strength, courage, and an unbreakable will to endure and to thrive. Practice this relentlessly. Catch the traitorous storyteller in the act. When you hear the voice of self-criticism, of blame, of despair, stop. Recognize it. Do not fight it, but do not believe it. Acknowledge it as an enemy broadcast, a piece of propaganda designed to lower morale. Then consciously and deliberately rewrite the story. Speak the new story aloud if you must. Write it down. Carve it into your mind. Over time, you will train your inner chronicler to work for you, not against you. Your default narrative will become one of strength, agency, and relentless growth. This is how you turn the greatest potential traitor into your most loyal and powerful advisor. Now we must speak of the gates of the fortress. There are 5 of them, your 5 senses, but the most crucial, the one most often left unguarded, is the gate of speech. What you say, what you allow to pass from your inner world into the outer, has a creative power you have likely underestimated. Your words are not just descriptions of your reality, they are decrees that shape it. The watchman is a guardian of silence and a master of deliberate speech. The undisciplined mind allows a constant stream of unfiltered noise to pour out of its gates. It complains about the weather, it gossips about others, it speaks of its fears and anxieties to anyone who will listen. Each of these utterances is a form of treason. To complain is to declare yourself a victim of circumstance, reinforcing a narrative of powerlessness. You are telling yourself and the world that you are subject to forces beyond your control, weakening the very foundation of your sovereignty. The watchman may observe that the weather is harsh, but he will not complain. He will speak of the fortitude required to endure it, or he will remain silent, conserving his energy for the task at hand. To gossip is to traffic in the affairs of other kingdoms, a distraction from the maintenance of your own. It lowers your focus to the petty and the trivial. It is the empty chatter of a nervous and undisciplined garrison. The watchman is concerned with the integrity of his own walls, the readiness of his own troops. He has no time for the rumored weaknesses of his neighbors. His silence on these matters is not born of arrogance, but of a profound and focused respect for his own duty. To speak constantly of your fears is to give them form and substance. You are inviting them into the physical world, broadcasting your vulnerabilities to any enemy who might be listening. You are performing a ritual of weakness, chanting the litany of your potential defeat. The watchman may feel fear. He may analyze it within the walls of his own mind, but he does not give it the honor of a public declaration. He speaks of strength. He speaks of his plan. He speaks of his duty. He knows that words are spells, and he chooses to cast spells of empowerment, not of despair. Guard the gate of your speech as you would guard the main entrance to your citadel. Before you speak, let your words pass 3 checkpoints of the watchman. First, is it true? Second, is it kind or necessary? Third, does it serve to strengthen my kingdom or weaken it? If a statement cannot pass these 3 checkpoints, it is better left unsaid. Embrace the power of silence. In silence, you can observe, you can listen, you can think. Silence is not emptiness, it is the pregnant pause before a decisive action. It is the quiet confidence of the guardian who does not need to announce his strength because he embodies it. When he does speak, his words carry the weight of this disciplined silence. They are few, but they are heavy as stone and sharp as steel. They are commands, not complaints. They are declarations of intent, not expressions of doubt. Master your tongue, and you will have mastered a force that can move mountains and quell rebellions. Let us pause for a moment on these ramparts. We have journeyed far. You have learned to be the silent observer, separate from the chaos of your thoughts. You have begun the lifelong work of building your walls through discipline. You have faced the insurgents of emotion with wisdom, not warfare. You have armed yourself with the stoic weapons of perspective. You have seized control of your inner narrative, becoming the hero of your own story. And you have learned to guard the sacred gate of your speech. You are beginning to feel it now, aren't you? The quiet solidity at your core, the stillness in the eye of the storm, the return of the exiled king. When was the last time you truly felt in command of your own mind? When was the last time you chose your response to an event rather than simply reacting to it? Think of a recent moment when you lost your peace, when an external event breached your walls. Was it truly the event itself that caused your suffering, or was it the story you allowed your inner narrator to tell about it? Was it the arrow from the enemy, or the second arrow you shot into yourself by ruminating on the first? See it now not as a failure but as a diagnostic report. It showed you a crack in the wall, a sleeping guard at his post. Be grateful for it. Now you know where to reinforce your defenses. The journey of the watchman is not a journey to a final destination of perpetual bliss. The storms will always come. The enemy armies of misfortune and chaos will always gather on the horizon. The watchman's oath is not a promise of a life without battles. It is the vow to be ready for them. It is the commitment to a lifetime of vigilance, of training, of strengthening the fortress. The peace it brings is not the peace of an empty field. It is the peace of a well-defended, well-governed citadel, standing serene and strong amidst the raging chaos of the world. It is the peace of the warrior who is at home in the storm. This fortress you are building is not just for you. Your inner state radiates outward. A man who is sovereign of his own mind brings order and strength to every situation he enters. He is the calm voice in a crisis. He is the steady hand when others are trembling. He is the lighthouse that guides others through their own storms. By taking the watchman's oath, by guarding your own fortress, you become a bastion of strength for your family, your community, your world. Your personal victory becomes a universal gift. You do not do this work just to save yourself. You do it to become the man, the woman who can serve the world from a place of fullness, not of lack, from a position of strength, not of desperation. The final duty of the watchman is to understand the nature of the war. It is a war that is never truly won but can be fought gloriously every single day. There will be days when the walls are breached, when a traitorous thought slips past your guard, when an emotion overwhelms you. On these days, the untrained mind surrenders. It sees one lost battle as a lost war. It throws down its weapons and lets the invaders run rampant. The watchman does not. When he is knocked down, he does not curse his weakness. He notes the tactic the enemy used. He learns and he gets back up. He reclaims his post. He expels the intruders and begins immediately to repair the breach. His resilience is his ultimate weapon. He understands that mastery is not about never falling. It is about rising every single time, a little stronger, a little wiser. His oath is not to be perfect, but to be relentless, to be unbreakable, to always, always return to his post. Your post is waiting. The dawn is breaking over the misty hills of your potential. The horn has sounded, signaling the start of a new day, a new watch. The ghosts of your past and the phantoms of your future will test you. The relentless noise of the world will try to distract and demoralize you. Your own old habits, the comfortable traders, will whisper for you to abandon your post and return to the false comfort of unconsciousness. Everything you need to stand guard is already within you. The strength, the courage, the wisdom. It is not something you must acquire. It is something you must uncover, something you must reclaim. It is your birthright as the sovereign of your own mind. The fortress stands. The spear is in your hand. The oath is on your lips. The first watch begins now. The question is not whether you are able. The only question that has ever mattered is this: will you answer the call?